Danny, as you join us today, let's start off with where you're born and kind of your upbringing.
I was born in Lowell, Massachusetts. My parents are Puerto Rican. My mom is from Ponce, Puerto Rico, and my dad is from San Juan, Carolina. And I've been out here for since I was 11 years old, and started school out here when I was in middle school. I started my sixth grade, and I just been moving forward from there.
So,
Mm,
so your
I have,
adjustment
but
from moving from Lowell to Florida with your family. About how long did you learn this? Did you get into the sport of boxing prior to moving here, or was something that kind of occurred once you moved down here to Florida?
yeah, it just happened when I moved here to Florida. I was in school here, and where I grew up, it was like a hood. I used to fight all the time, and one of my neighbors brought out one time a pair of boxing gloves, and since people always wanted to fight me for some reason, I'm the one that was always being called to fight. Um, we ended up fighting out neighbors and friends, and as I got older, when I was around 15, my mom got tired of it. She was like, "Man, listen, you killing me." I was getting in and out of trouble. I was in parole. I was in juvenile detention center just for fighting.
Wow.
But not because I look for fighting. It's just you know, people used to just try to pick on me or whatnot, and I just used to just get in trouble. But my mom got tired and she found a place, but I wasn't legal to get in. But they got me legal to go in. I used to sign a waiver, and they got me like a fake ID. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
And I used to go in a club called Mark Shots in Altamont Springs, Florida, and they used to do fight nights there. But I used to sign a waiver, and I was fighting grown men at 15, and I started just fighting grown men, and I liked it, and you know, and I just kept on going there every Wednesday. Either if I couldn't make it, the owner of the club, listen, he kind of knew I was below age, but
Right.
he was like, listen, I'm gonna let you in as long as you don't drink, you don't smoke in here, you know that. I was like, cool. I don't drink or smoke, so I don't care. So I just got in and I just started fighting people, even people from Roxy's, which was a different club in Orlando. They used to do Roxy nights on Monday nights.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to fight in Roxy's. I fought the champion at Roxy and beat him in my shots. And to be honest, I fought there like 100 times. And one day, the professional boxer Christy Martin just happened to be in the club, and she brought some of her fighters there, but none of them fought me because I guess she knew, that I was underage, and then she called me out. She's like, "How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 15." Like, don't tell anybody. Yeah, I was
Wow.
like, "You know who I am?" I was like, "No, I don't know who you are."
Right.
I was like, "I'm Christy Martin. I'm a professional boxer." I'm like, "You are?" Like, really? And then she's like, "Oh, I fought Layla Ali." I'm like, "Oh, I know. I seen that fight."
Right.
you know, she fought Layla Ali, and then she pulled me out of the club. She's like, "Listen, you're gonna get hurt here. Come to the gym, check it out." And she
Okay.
didn't charge me. It was free gym. I just had to make it. It was a drive. I used to catch a couple buses just to get there.
Wow.
But unfortunately, it wasn't something that I could do every day because how far it was, and because
Right.
my mom was a single mom and I had to take care of two of my brothers, and I was basically their father around that time. Um, I was actually forced to learn how to cook, clean, do everything while my mom was out working. So, that's why I couldn't really get into the amateur and get some amateur experience. So I kind of just went when I could, and it kept me out of trouble. Um, at that time, I was still asthmatic,
Wow.
so I couldn't fight more than 3 rounds, and I think that's what kind of pushed me to keep going,
Mm.
just because I felt like damn 3 rounds and these people are in there 10, 12 rounds,
Right.
and I've always been like the competitive type, like hey, if you could do it, I could do it. So around that time, I was in high school. I was a freshman. I started doing. I was in a football team. I was um, a linebacker for Edgewater High School, and I also did track and field. And I was, believe it or not, I was running 10 seconds flat on the 100 yards.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I competed in track team, and I just started running a lot. And my mom started taking me to the beach, and that's where I think I just got rid of most of my asthma. Because a doctor that I know back in when I was like almost 16, I had another asthma attack, and I was in Massachusetts visiting my grandmother, and I visited my childhood doctor from Lowell, and she's like, I haven't seen you in a long time, and she's Indian, and she's like, listen, you need to run a lot in the beach, in the sand, stay away from traffic, you know, stuff like that. And that's what I did. And I started, my mom used to take me, not every day because she worked, but on the weekends, she would take time to take me to the beach and I would run out there. And I started exercising and running, and that's how I got basically rid of my asthma. Then I got into the amateurs, and around 16, 17, I got a couple of amateur fights, but I only did 4 amateur fights. I didn't fight, you know, I don't have a big amateur background.
Right.
Um, because I didn't have no one to kind of guide me the right way. I didn't have my dad there to kind of like, hey, help me go through all these stages. It was just me, my mom, and my brothers, and that's where it was really tough. Um, but after after I kind of like just just stopped wanting to get in trouble. I just kind of wanted to just fight all the time, because my first sparring session while training, I got schooled. Like somebody just schooled me, and I got so frustrated I almost threw the guy out of the ring because I could street fight. Like I could street fight. That I tell you, I could street. But
Okay.
boxing and street fighting, they're totally not the same.
Right.
You know, I've never gotten I've never gotten beat up out of the ring.
Right.
But yeah, I get in the ring and get my ass handed.
There's
It's
a skill set and art to it for sure. People overlook that
correct.
on the
So
boxing side. Correct.
so I just stayed in and out, and then I had my first child, and I was gonna go to the army at that time, but I decided not to because of my first child, and I just stayed there, and we just struggled a lot on while we was going, and we went through a lot of issues, me and my family, and it was tough, man, because if I know that I could be much more up here than where I'm at now, you know. Um, I have been really successful lately, thank God. You know, but that's because I've been pushing and pushing and pushing and sacrificing a lot of um things that I had to sacrifice. But my professional career is not at its peak point where it should be because um, just the experience that I wasn't able to get during my childhood
Right.
or while I was a teenager. Um, I didn't had the right first coach. My first coach just gave me uh, two amateur fights and hey, let's turn you pro.
Wow.
You're a pro material, and I won my first fight. Sure, I won my first fight. Um, I won my second fight, but my third fight I lost, and then it's like I knew I wasn't ready, but I kind of always been with that drive that oh I could do it, let's do it,
Right.
okay, who cares, you know, and I was struggling at that time, so they're paying me, I was like fuck it, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
and now that I've been actually taking it serious, this the last couple of years, it's been really hard because um, my background is not a good background, and when you go to school cards or just to an upcoming fighter, they'll find reasons to stop the fight or to give it to someone else.
Mm.
And the sport of boxing is where it kind of pulled me down in that way when it comes to a sport because I've always said I'll do everything as best as I can when I do it. But some people use to some people it's not enough, and to some people it's all about business. It's not about sport. So it's kind of hard, man. But after I had my let's go back a little bit. After I had
Yeah.
my first child, after I had my first child, I stayed in training and I worked and I just did training just for fun, just for exercise. Just because I had priorities now, you know. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about anything else. It was just about my kid. So I kind of just stepped back on boxing for a little while, and until I was able to find some time. But I was already in so much debt and so much issues that it took me 2 3 years just to fix my life.
Mm.
As a teenager, I made a lot of mistakes, and it dragged me all the way to my 19th year birthday.
Wow.
And when I turned 19 is when I said, yes, thank you. I haven't had to deal with the system anymore, none of that. Um, so I just kept on pushing and moving forward. I had my second child right away. It was crazy. I had two daughters, and this was in 2007, and then my second daughter I had her in 2009, and I moved to Kissimmee because of I found a gym in Kissimmee, and that's where I did my first pro debut out of a Kissimmee gym. But like I said, I didn't had a good background experience. I should have. I think I could do a whole lot more, but I think I don't have the support that I should. You know. Now I'm training to Ocala because I found a decent trainer. They're good people. They're a good family out there. And even though it's an hour and a half from here, I'll drive there and back because it's worth it. You know, when I go there to train, I don't only train. I don't just do my regular workout. My coach pushes me, and they all motivate me. They know that they believe that I could become a champion one day. And I think that's what kind of pushes me and motivates me to take the drive out there because it's such a drive, and then the gas and toll that you got to take, you know, it's not easy driving
Yeah.
out there, an hour and a half. And sometimes I did it twice a day.
Wow.
hmm Um, and it's hard, because it's kind of like, man, it's a good gym over there, but my kids go to school here. They got a good school here. Um, I have three kids, by the way. I have a boy finally. He's he's uh he's 5 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But this last couple of years, I found this guy named Connor Coyle,
Yeah, solid
and
fighter.
it
Tough guy, man.
yeah, I found this guy Connor Coyle. It was a decent fight. But I only had 3 weeks of training for that
Mm.
fight, and I had no I wasn't able to get any sparring,
Wow.
because it was just too
Short
late for me
notice.
to get sparring because yeah, they gave me notice. I had notice, so what I did was because of my job, is traveling. I travel because I do work lock installation for hotels,
Okay.
and since my job is traveling, it's really tough to go to the gym every week, every day.
Right.
So I had to take those 3 weeks off, you know. But I was, trying to keep my conditioning, staying down low on my weight while I was out working, and I would do my own exercises out there. So when I come back to the gym, what I had to do was kind of tweak a few things. But even though I wasn't really 100% ready for that fight, I think I did great on that fight. It's just that, man, I'm telling you, um, referees and the judges that they have, they're just so unfair sometimes.
Mm.
I seen the fight on that night, the same fight where I said, man, stop the fight. I'm in the locker room watching the fight from a TV, and it's a heavyweight fight. The guy falls like 3, 4 times, dude. Watching the fight from a TV, and it's a heavyweight fight. The guy falls like 3, 4 times, dude, and he's hurt, and they don't stop the fight. While I was fighting Connor, I had heard him in the last, I think it was the fifth round. In the fifth round, I had heard him, and I seen him walked out to his corner when the bell rang, and I knew he was hurt, and I was like, I got him, and I wasn't the fast. I've always been a slow start fighter. I like to take my time,
Right.
but the sixth round came, and we was in exchange, and while I was in exchange, my mouthpiece went to fly off. It went off, and I caught it with my glove, and I thought I was far enough so I could put it up back up distance, but I forgot this guy is so tall and has such a long reach that by the time he made it to me, he caught me with a right hand.
Mm.
But I was like, oh man, he caught me, and I knew he caught me, but I got out, and I walked to the corner, and then before he even says eight, or I think at four, I was already in my corner. At the
Okay.
count of four, I was already in my corner. That was good. Yeah, he has found me, he has fell, but I was already good. Already
You
ready
recovered.
to rock.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were, I believe that they were a little, how do you call it? They were a little worried because I heard them a few times,
Mm.
and when they found the time to, like, the opportunity to kind of stop the fight, I think that's what they did.
Mm.
So when I watched the video again, you can see it, I'm okay. I'm telling the referee, yes, I'm good. I'm
You're
good.
coherent. Yeah.
Right. What he did is like give me your hands, and I put my hands like this, right, and he grabs my arms and he pulls it towards him.
Right.
He makes me. He looks out of balance, but he pulls my hand while I'm standing squared up.
Right.
He pulls both my hands, and he makes me look like I'm out of balance. And then he stops the fight. And
Mm.
dude, that day, I'm telling you, that day, because I have, for me to get the training, I sacrifice a lot. And when I fight, I know I got kids, I know I got a family. I'm not gonna take unnecessary risks, you know.
Right.
Um, if I know I'm hurt, I'll just take a knee, or I'll just say no, I can't do it. I have kids.
Yeah, you're
It's
not
more
fighting to the
important.
death. Some of these guys talk about, oh, I'll go in there and put my life. I get that. And you're not making excuses for what transpired. You're essentially saying you were coherent. You were still ready to go. It got stopped early.
Yeah. So that's the problem. When it came to that fight, the referee didn't give me a chance. I believe they saw an opportunity to stop the fight, and that's what they did. But everybody has their own opinion about things.
Right.
When you're in there, when you're out there, you see different than what I'm doing and what I'm feeling. It's not the same thing. It's
Definitely not.
actually two different type of views you're watching. You're watching, you're watching behind the TV. You'll be like, dude, throw.
Right. Right.
If you're in front of me, you can see like, damn, I am too far to even throw a punch. I'm gonna waste it,
Mm.
or I'm gonna get countered from this far distance. Like people don't even think about that,
Right.
like I'm not even at right distance to even throw a punch. Now,
Right.
I get it, but I had my game plan. I said this guy is gonna outbox me. I said this guy was gonna auction me. I knew that he was up here because he's going through a hell of a boxing camp.
Right.
And I was like, but I said that I could beat him, and I knew I could. I heard him a few times. And people knew I heard him, and they were worried about that. And I know that if it would have passed, if I would have left that corner, it would have been over for him
Mm.
because my switch just went. My drive went from a first gear to fifth gear.
Yeah.
Every time someone like touches me, I just wake up. Okay, people see my fights on YouTube, whatever. But there ain't really. Where's my good fights? None of them are there. None of my good fights are there.
Mm.
They put the fights that I've lost. Okay, people put up videos, whatever is convenient. I really don't care about that much. I don't really care what anybody really says about anything, but I believe that I could be a champion one day as well. It's just that right now time is not with me, and you know, they don't have the help that I need, the support that I need to be able to dedicate full time boxing. And I'm
Right.
telling you, if I so much get 1 year, listen, 1 year,
To train full.
I
Yeah.
1 year, I promise you, I'll destroy anybody. Cause listen, in 3 weeks I could do so much
Right.
in just 3 weeks of training and drop from 195 pounds to 160, 58 pounds. And that's what I
That's
fight.
big. Right.
I walk around, 190. You
Yeah.
know, it's crazy. And I drop in 3 weeks to 158 pounds. And I do it easy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I gotta train hard, but I have no problem doing it.
Right. And and Danny, just
So
to enhance what you're saying to everyone watching today and those that are tuning in, we have to understand that it's not a level playing field a lot of times. You are professional. You're working a full-time job. You're competing against guys that are in the gym every day that do this year round. So there's nothing to hold your head up on that. And like you said, time will come. The adjustments will come, and you'll have that time to put in instead of working a 10-hour day and then going to the gym. So nothing to hold your head up on there at all. You're also not competing against, Joe Blow. You're competing against guys that are on a path that have been doing this full time their entire life, that have full training camps. So I want people to understand that you've taken some losses early on in your career, and you've also competed against some top guys very early on in your career. You have guys that will fight 15 to 20 fights, and they're 2 or 3 round fights. You've been in some barn burners, so to say, with guys that, like I said, are on a path that have been doing this their whole life. So nothing to hold your head up on there. And I want the people to understand that as your career progresses, and you will get that time. So just so everyone knows that, Danny's honestly, and I could share this, working with him in the corner prior, the attitude you have and everything you've been through, you should be proud of yourself. Dat Win is a gentleman we interviewed last weekend. I don't know if you've seen his fights. The guy's an animal and very talented. And like you said, he made his pro debut with Michael Buffer in the ring. And he finds himself 15 years later in bare knuckle. And this is a guy who was kind of a B-side fighter, was treated a certain way, and didn't always have that full camp, but has the talent. So when you get that time, like you said, the sky's the limit. You'll be a champion one day, man. So don't hold your head up on that at all. I wanted to share that with others just so they have an understanding of where you're coming from.
You was there in my last fight, right?
That's correct. Versus
Did you
Burwell.
notice
That was a great fight, man. Great fight, by
yeah.
the way.
Did you notice that I got in there with a broken rib and a messed up bicep?
You guys are pretty good. The fighters are pretty good at hiding that stuff. No, I had no idea. I've seen Roy Jones tear the bicep in the corner before, detached, and he kept fighting. And that was pretty close
Yeah,
to the end of the career. So it's impressive.
I put my bicep in the second round, but my rib I had it 2 weeks before. I was actually in the sparring section
Wow.
and actually had a broken rib, and I was kind of stressing that because it was kind of pinching like my lung or something like that. You know, I
Huh.
feel like a pinch
Okay.
every time I breathe, but it didn't affect me during the fight. It just kind of like mentally just bothered me.
Right.
The arm was what really got me because I couldn't throw a jab. I was
Mm.
so upset. I practiced my jab so many times. I was tripling my jabs in training. I was
Okay.
doing so good with my jab, and I threw a hook, I believe, in the second round, and I missed it, and that's what happened. I missed it, and I pulled my bicep. Like, I tore it. I don't know if you can see it still.
Okay.
You,
Yeah.
you see it? It's like a little bump right there.
Yeah. That's very
Yeah,
evident. Yeah.
it's a lot better. It's a lot better. It was actually this big after the fight. It was
Wow.
like swollen. Um, and dude, I was in the gym about the same amount. I was in the gym longer, a month. You
Wow.
know, I was in the gym in a month, and I was in real condition. Um, and I practiced a little bit more than my previous fight.
So you had a little bit more time
But
going into that. And shout out to Robbie Burwell, a great fighter. You guys, man, that was a heck of a main event. You guys put on a great fight. It could have gone either way. You got the short end of the stick. All props to Burwell. You guys had a great fight. Nothing to hold your head up again. It could have gone either way.
mm,
He's a tough guy, man. He's a tough fighter. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen live. I'll be honest with you. I've seen a lot of boxing in my lifetime.
mm,
Keep your head up on that because you guys went at it, man. You guys went at it and should be proud of yourself. And obviously, you had those injuries going
it,
into it.
I think you're gonna see a Barwell Pastrana too.
Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of people, that was a great show. Was
Yeah,
that Undisputed Promotions they put on that event?
no,
Um,
it wasn't a disputed promotion. It was I forgot.
yeah, I forgot myself and I apologize for that. The, the show was at UCF. It was a great venue, packed house, and boxing in Orlando like that was awesome to see. Um,
Yeah,
so
Anthony was the one promoting the fight.
it was a solid show. And would you say that was one of your toughest fights in your career thus far? Between that fight, the Coyle fight, what would you say has been your toughest opponent?
Man, to be honest, that was it wasn't my toughest fight. It was so much fun. I had fun. It just I just wish the fight would have gone an extra 2 rounds. You know,
Yeah.
I was still in shape to go 6 more rounds.
Interesting.
And I know I would have beat him because at that end of the round there, he was already shaking up. I started hurting him to the body, and I knew that I was gonna eventually stop him.
Right.
Um,
The breakdown over the
but my
time and
toughest
go ahead.
opponent, my toughest opponent, for Dolores,
Okay.
I fought him twice. I fought him twice. He was pretty good. I fought him first. I fought him at 160, and then I fought him at 168.
Wow.
I lost uh, by decision on the first fight because I slipped and the referee counted as a stop as a as I dropped.
Okay.
So it was only a 4 round. It was only a 4 round fight.
Yeah.
You know, and then we took it again. My 168, and man, I'm telling you, man, the guy hits. The guy hits hard.
He's throwing bricks at you. He's throwing bricks at you.
And I beat him. Listen, even though I beat him, and I know he went home with a headache too on my second fight because dude, I was landing hooks everywhere. Bam, bam, bam. And you
Right.
don't see that fight though. You don't see that fight on YouTube though. The good fight.
Right.
Um, and I kind of was stressed for that fight because my ex wife she had her grandfather passed away the day before my fight. So she ended up flying out to Puerto Rico the day of my fight. And told me, you better not fucking lose the fight. I'm not gonna be there, but I'm watching you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, don't worry, I got this, babe. So
Little added pressure there
I
for
went,
sure.
I went home with bruised wrist, man. I'm telling you, like, damn, this dude was hitting hard. But I was able to beat him, and I won by decision. But I knew I outpunched them. I kind of made my own fight that fight. But I think believe that was my really hardest opponent, Pablo Royce.
Interesting.
You know.
And Danny, as you mentioned prior, having fun, and I think you see a lot of fighters. There's so much pressure and that mental fortitude to be able to get prepared for a fight, let alone have fun while you're in there. I worked with Justin Gaethje a few weeks back in the UFC event in Jacksonville, and let me tell you, you have a similar mindset as him. The mental preparation before the fight, and then when you're actually in the ring having fun. I think we were in the 5th round, and when he fought Tony Ferguson, and he said he was just excited. He had no idea it was the last round, and the guy was amped up. And it reminded me of you when you came back to the corner a few times, and like, I'm having a good time, man. This is awesome. And you don't see a lot of guys verbalize that. They're either usually too tired, or they just won't say much. But that's your true passion when you're sitting there getting hit, throwing back, and you're having a good time. You're enjoying it. And we don't see a lot of that as far as the communication of that. So you should be very proud of yourself. One of the few people over the years I've literally heard say, this is fun.
Yeah.
So
the thing is that before it could be stressful, especially the beginning fights when you don't have the amount of experience that you have. But when you know that you're in shape and you do your best and you have that positive attitude,
right.
Even though you could be ready, you could mentally drain yourself before a fight. I've learned all these. I should have learned in the amateurs. I have learned this in the pros. All my experience, I've gotten it all in the pros. There hasn't been nothing I learned in the amateurs. Everything I learned it in the pros. You know, mentally to get in a fight, you have to be mentally focused, mentally strong. You know, and that's what I did for this fight. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go in there. I'm just gonna, and I did.
Right.
But you have to go in with that mentality that that's what you want. If you're in there worried about, oh, what if he does this? What if I get hit? What if what if I get hurt? Then what if I didn't train hard enough? you know,
Right.
because sometimes you think you're tired, but it's yourself putting that in your head that you're tired. You could I seen this guy, man, that I've trained with him so many times. I seen him fight his first professional fight, and I'm like, dude, I know this guy is has so much condition, and he was tired on the second round,
Wow.
you know, and it's because the mentality, man, the mind is a weapon in there, man. If you have a
Definitely.
really strong mind when you're in the ring, you can make it beyond what you think you will, and
That's
I guess because I focus on making a show instead of winning the fight by stoppage, because that's what I mean. I really want to. This time, I didn't want to just go in there and fight. I wish I should have kind of had to squeeze a little bit to the end. I was a little worried about a few issues like my bicep and my rib, but I
right.
didn't let that bother me that much.
Let it stop you.
I just try to stay focused on what I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna go the distance if I have to. I train for this. You gotta have that positive attitude. If you don't, you're just gonna crash before you even start the fight. You know,
Truly a strong message as you share that with other fighters and that mental side of things. As we wrap up today, Danny, I wanted, a vast career thus far. You continue to pursue your professional boxing career through all the ups and downs. You've persevered. You should be proud of yourself where you're at. The future is bright. Who is Danny Pastrana outside of the ring? What are your passions and interests?
I'm a father, a full-time father. I work, you know, I work hard. I have a family to take care of, but they're my priorities. I take, yes, this last couple of years for me has always been personally. I've had a lot of personal issues. I've been through a separation. Had a fight custody for my kids. Um, so they gave me 50 custody of my kids,
Okay.
and that kind of took a load off my back. But I couldn't even see my kids every other weekend. It's when I could see my kids. And with the traveling and all that, it was really difficult. And then all this pandemic that's been happening, you know, now that I was able to get 50% custody of my kids, has been a little bit more settled for me.
Okay.
But but all I do is man take care of my kids, work. I have them one weekend, 1 week out. And
Yeah.
with my job, I could do it because I make enough money in a job to pay my bills in a week. I can make enough money to pay for the week that I'm losing.
Right.
And for me, they're my priority. So I mean, if I have to take the time off for them, I will. I want to be there for each one of them because when I grew up, I didn't have my parents, both of them there. So it was really tough on me, and I feel that I have to be there for them no matter what, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what's most important is family.
That's awesome.
Um, it is for me, family is first.
Very good.
Um,
So, Danny, as we wrap up, we'd like to ask some fast facts. And I truly appreciate you sharing your commitment to your family. As people are tuned in today, father of three, professional fighter, works a full-time job and commutes almost 2 hours to his home gym in Ocala, the John 316 and 17 boxing gym. What is one of the most what's a place you want to visit that you've never been?
there's many places I want to go to. I like the islands. I really do.
Okay.
Not I love Puerto Rico, but that's not where I want to go. I've been there.
Right.
I want to go to like even the ugliest places in the world, like you know. Mexico, Nicaragua. I want to Colombia, Venezuela. I want to visit all those places.
Okay.
But the city, one of the city I would like to go to Rome or Italy one
Okay.
day.
That's
So,
awesome, man. I've never been.
but that's just one of the places I would like to go. But
Right.
as far as the islands, DR or something like that,
Very cool.
or Hawaii.
Oh, that would be cool. What's your favorite food?
I love Italian food, man.
There you go.
Anything that has to do with pasta, pizza.
All the bad stuff, right?
Don't get me wrong, I love my rice and beans, just like pretty sure every other Puerto Rican out there.
Always
But
can't go wrong with that.
mm,
What's something most people don't know about you?
uh, what people don't know about me, that I could be very like I could overwhelm people just by the way I look, but I'm just the most humblest person there is out there. And most people that know me, they know this, and they tell me the same thing. Man, dude, you look like a scary guy. I wouldn't want to talk to you.
It's funny.
And I'm just the humblest person out there. Um, I make friends easy. You know, um,
That's awesome.
but just to know, I make friends, but I'm not a follower. I'm more like a leader type of person. So a lot of people they just don't be around me because how everybody just they have their own habits and all that. And I just don't approve with it, but I don't judge anybody on it either.
Right.
You know? So
Danny, as we wrap up today, what would you like to say to everyone out there that's obviously we're all going through this tough time with the COVID
you
19?
broke up there. You broke up there. I couldn't hear you.
Excuse me, I apologize. So, in your final statement, what would you like to tell everybody out there as we endure these tough times? Obviously, we're all going through the pandemic, and obviously, with all the political stuff, not a political person, not what the show's about. What would you like to share? What's your message to everyone that's enduring these tough times?
Stay focused. Do something with your time. Don't just sit at home if you're not working. There's always something to do. Um, God always has control of everything. Um, things happen for a reason. I've been out of work for 9 weeks, but here I am. I'm chilling. Uh, I can't stress it. I gotta leave everything to God. Yes, I gotta make my own moves. I hustle. I'm working with my brother next week and the week before after that.
Very good.
I'm just lucky that he has his own company and I can just kind of join him. But just stay focused and pray, and things are gonna get good and bad again and worse. Just be prepared for whatever's coming. You know.
We appreciate you sharing that and sharing your time today. Danny Pastrana, professional boxer by way of the John 3:16 and 17 boxing gym in Ocala, Florida. Excuse me. We thank you again for joining us and sharing your story inside and outside the ring.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And God bless everybody out there.
Thank you, Danny. Stay blessed. And from Team La Perla Boxing Gym in San Juan, Puerto Rico, we send blessings to you and everyone else. Take care.
Thank you for this time, man.
You're welcome.
Bye.